Barbara Starr reporting there. Well, over the next 10 days, Iran marks a major anniversary that many are watching closely. The 1979 return of Ayatollah Khomeini and the dawn of the Islamic Revolution will climax February 11th. Already, some opposition leaders are calling on Iranians to take to the streets and demand their rights back. A statement posted on an opposition website reads, "The widespread arrests of political activists and university students, the silencing of the media, and the forced confessions of prisoners are against the principles of Islam and the Constitution of Iran." It seems to be a bold call to action from the opposition, considering the events of the past 8 months. Through the prism this evening, we're asking how strong is the Iranian opposition. From Islamabad, correspondent Reza Sayah looks at the strength and structure of what many see as a permanent political fixture in Iran.
They've been beaten, arrested, and sentenced to death. Dozens have been killed. Yet Iran's opposition movement remains defiant, posing the biggest challenge ever to the Islamic Republic in its 31-year history. But questions remain. How widespread is this movement? Who exactly are its leaders? And does it have the power to bring political change to Iran? It's impossible to say if the opposition movement represents Iran's majority. Iran's hardline leaders say the movement is insignificant, but their protests show they have strength in numbers, able to draw hundreds of thousands to the streets in cities throughout Iran. The demographics of the movement have expanded as well, analysts say. Men, women, rich, poor, even religious conservatives now taking part in the call for change, says Iran expert Karim Sajadpour.
What we've seen over the course of the last 7 months is that with the passage of time, the legitimacy of the regime has only been further diluted, and the ranks of those who sympathize with the opposition has only increased.
Analysts say the movement has carried on without a clear leader. Early on, defeated presidential candidate Mir Hossein Mousavi seemed to lead the charge. But no longer is this a protest against the vote he lost. The movement now, a shapeless blend of different factions, with demands ranging from regime change to a freer, more open society. Columbia University professor Hamid Dabashi calls it a civil rights movement.
For the first time in modern history, and not just in the history of Iran, we have a civil rights movement that people are its leaders. Of course, Mr. Mousavi, Karoubi, etc. are also representative of this movement, but not its leaders.
Some experts say the absence of a clear leader is precisely why the regime can't crush the opposition movement. After all, who does the government go after when it's not even sure who's leading the charge? So far, the movement hasn't been able to spark political change, but a recent television debate where state-run media invited an opposition supporter to speak is perhaps the regime's first acknowledgement. This is a movement that cannot be ignored. One of the most effective ways to gauge the opposition movement's momentum has been their ability to target major holidays and calendar days in Iran and essentially hijack government-sanctioned events to make their voices heard. The next date they're targeting, February 11th, the anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. Reza Sayah, CNN, Islamabad.